Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I did a story yesterday in which I explained how I felt that the SNP were likely to split. I thought, given the, utter thrashing, basically, that they've had, there would be no way that they could continue in the same form without some sort of rivening along factional lines. There'd be blame, there'd be finger pointing, that sort of thing. And I said about this. Now, I believe Craig Houston has also done a story on this. But there is today an article, and it's about that massive revolt that I sort of predicted would happen. It had to happen. It literally had to happen because the SNP never blame themselves. They've always got to blame other people. And when it's clear that it is themselves, then they have to blame other people within the party. And so who do you think is getting the blame? Well, for one faction are blaming Nicola Sturgeon, and the other faction are blaming, of course, Humza Yousaf or John Swinney. The fact is that all three of these people have been at the heart of the party for years. So there is no real split. It is, I think, the personality, though, the cultists and the non-cultists. Because there's those that sort of treat Nicola Sturgeon as some demigod, some sort of inviolable personality for whom everything is perfection. And there's those that realise that she is an unwarranted disaster, a hate-filled, hateful blob of self-loathing, really, I think. She is so egotistical, egomaniacal, should I say. But this credo is there, and they have this civil war festering below the surface, only not so far below the surface. And indeed, even today, it's come out with Kate Forbes saying that she had to pick a side, and she's picking John Swinney. Because obviously Kate Forbes had the chance. She had the chance of becoming the leader. She could have stood there today and been the leader, or at least challenged for the leadership today. She's pinned her colours by accepting the role into John Swinney's cabinet, and so she has to show that loyalty. So she's come out today and given her loyalty to John Swinney, which is rather unfortunate because Swinney is already yesterday's man. Of course, like I say, there's other people that are now picking up on this divide. And this massive, I suppose, this war, this civil war, this revolt within the party, the HQ, of course, are claiming that it's not us, Gov, but clearly it is. They did very little by way of helping candidates in the general election. Excuse me, this cold will eventually go away, I hope. And that is, anyway, it was this central HQ not helping individuals on the ground that's led to this worst result for 14 years now, 2010. It was the worst result since 2010. But it's terminal now because they've got no money. So this is not only the worst result since 2010, but it's the beginning of the end. This is that slide. This is that tipping point where it goes from being a bad result to being the beginning of the extinction level event for the party. They've got this 30% from 48% of the vote in 2019 or something like that. They've fallen to 30%. It's a humiliating drop. They know they can't persuade even their own supporters to vote for them. So what hope have they got of getting then, other people who don't support them to vote for them? It'll never happen. And of course, it's killed, finally, any dream of independence. The party's got to accept that independence is now dead. Certainly for a generation, if not forever. It's just literally not going to happen. And especially now, as younger voters aren't going and joining the SNP, younger voters are looking elsewhere. And that, of course, is that's the lifeblood for any parties to get the young ones in. That's why religion's like kids, isn't it? Get them in young, get them trapped in. They're easier to brainwash. Well, that brainwashing is no longer there. And so you've still got this split happening between the loyalists of Nicola Sturgeon, the Neuer SNP of John Swinney, and whatever happens, they're both destined to go extinct because there's no one new coming in to fill the place. And all of this still under the doom of Operation Copa, Operation Branchform, the potential investigation over expenses through the through the election. It's not good. It's not good. They're going to make do with £1 million or less a year short money, falling membership numbers. Well, regardless of who's leading the party, there's nothing they can do. What can they do to turn this around? Now, grassroots, those few remaining supporters are going to turn around and say to HQ, say to the leadership, what are you doing? Why aren't you helping us? What is the point? What are you actually worth? And then coming to the conclusion they're not worth anything. You're going to have revolving door leadership for quite some time. I think eventually two things have got to happen. Either they've got to change their rule book and allow Flynn to be leader from Westminster, or Flynn will have to give up Westminster and move to Holyrood. You're going to have all these people from Westminster wanting to go into Holyrood, which means all those councillors, all those activists and that were sort of pegged in to run at the next Holyrood election will be told, no, thanks a lot, sod off. And what are they going to do? Well, that's an appalling way to treat me. Screw you, and walk. And so they'll get no one on the ground, get no troops on the ground pushing these things come the next election. And with no money to even print leaflets, it's dead in the water. The party is dead. There's no two ways about it. You lose your ground troops and you got no money. How do you expect to win? And that's what people aren't looking at. They're not looking at the fact that all these 39 MPs will want to work in Holyrood because, they like that public money, don't they? And so all those loyalists that were being promised, to stand on the ticket at the next election are going to be booted down the road. They'll walk. Where we go, I'm going to be putting up with this, treated abominably. The SNP is a very unhappy ship. It's got a hole in the stern. It's got a hole in the bow. Even the band have given up playing. And the captain isn't going down with the ship because the captain jumped some time ago. Glug, glug, glug. And with it, independence and the future of the SNP. Well done. Finally, the SNP have done something very, very good for Scotland. They've stopped existing. They've killed themselves. It's marvellous. And it'd be nice to watch their faces as it finally goes under the sea and disappears forever and takes with it all memory of the division and hate caused by exclusively Nicola Sturgeon. Thanks a lot. Bye.